The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Wednesday, the 8th of April.
The FujiCast.
Welcome to the FujiCast Daily. And hello, Kev.
Hello, Neil.
Kev has been on a bit of a mission today. A socially distanced, and I must say it was for the church as well. You had to set up some equipment in the church, yes?
Yeah, it's been the most exciting day of my 3 weeks, I think. Got out, saw some people I hadn't seen for a while.
But from a safe distance and legally, I hope.
Well, yeah, although I did feel a little bit kind of, I was walking across the high street. My studio is on the high street, and the church I go to is literally, I don't know, 35-second walk. And I was walking across the high street with my great big aperture light dome thing, which is huge. Crossing the high street, just as a police car wandered by and slowed down very slowly, looked at me. And I was like, I wonder what I would say. Is this really, necessary?
Well, yeah, the churches of your area would not get mass over the entire Easter safely if it weren't now for your aperture light and the webcam that you set up there for them to use.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but anyway, I did.
Well,
I kind of passed it off in my mind as, I think that I'm doing a good thing. I'm not just. I'm not taking the mick, as so to speak.
Well, you're not like one of these kids that say, just going sunbathing, innit? Sunbathing. Do an exercise, sunbathing.
Yeah, exactly. I did that in the garden with a beer afterwards.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay. So, welcome to the FujiCast Daily. It's a show about photography, a show which does include Fujifilm stuff and questions, yes, but also at this time of lockdown in most parts of the world, it's a stay-at-home show where we get to spend some time together. Today we've got the Daily Photo Challenge, Day 2. Have you thought of Kev's challenge for that yet? No.
I'll think of something.
I knew. Yeah. But anyway, we got to judge yesterday's as well.
Yeah, I saw some good ones coming in.
Oh, some amazing ones, stunning ones. And today, instead of the interview, we've got Kev's Mountain of Books You Should Buy When It's Safe to Spend Money Again feature, which I have. We have actually Thomas, young Thomas in the family. He whipped down to the studio with me here, all of 20 paces. And recorded you a jingle for it. So you have a jingle for it. But we haven't got it today, though.
Thomas, come on.
No, he made a few mistakes, and it took a little bit longer than we thought. Unless we edit it in, of course. Oh, it might magically appear anyway, Kev.
Maybe. Yeah, otherwise I shall forever be saying to Thomas, come on, Thomas. Get your act together. Come on. What are you playing at?
So Friday, now that we have the Bar Nuts quiz, there won't be an interview on Fridays and Wednesdays. But lots of you have offered yourself up for a few conflabs, so that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, and keep offering yourselves up because it's good to do some hangouts on the show. It's nice to hear what you've been up to. Should we? Let's go for some stuff first of all. Then we'll come to the photo challenge. Hi, Kevin Neil. My brother is a big fan of Seinfeld, and this is his personalised license plate. Did you see this, by the way? This is from Ray Rhodes in Ontario, in Canada. Yeah. It's a picture of a Kia. So he's in the family, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
Kia lover.
Keeping it in the Kia.
Yeah, with a Yada 3X plate on the back. I didn't see. I thought it was your phrase, Kev.
What? Yada? No. Yada, 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 yada.
Yeah. Well, I had to look it up, you see, then. Yada Yada was first popularised by the comedian Lenny Bruce in his stand-up bit, Father Flotsky's Triumph, and the closing track in his 1961 album, Lenny Bruce American. But it gained more renewed popularity in the 90s on Seinfeld when it appeared as the catchphrase.
Well, I've never seen Seinfeld. So I never knew that.
Well, I just thought if we added an H on the end of Yada, then it's truly ours, isn't it? Because their spelling is different to our spelling.
Yeah, and Seinfeld's got far more money than us. Doesn't matter.
I don't think he's going to be chasing us somehow.
Seinfeld, go home.
He is. What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. That could mean anything because I've never ever seen it.
We had something in from Kevin Fitzsimmons. Or Fitzsimons, probably. Sorry, Kevin. From Columbus.
That's right.
Who said, Kevin... No, he's different, Kevin. Kevin and Neil, I love the podcast, but daily's far too much. Maybe 2 a week would be good. There's too much going on to watch daily. He's right about that. So I just skip 3 to 5 a week and miss good info. See, there's a bit of... what's that called? FOMO, isn't it? Fear of missing out. Is it FOMO?
FOMO, yeah.
FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah. Just letting you know, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate your efforts and enjoy the interviews and info. Just my opinion. Anyway, I did write back, so I thought I wouldn't mention it on the show because Kevin, this is Fitzsimons, not you, Kevin. I said, I must mention that on the show. And Kev, different Kev Fitzsimons, it was my eldest, Jack, who said, "You can't do that, Dad. What about Kevin's feelings?" I said, that's a very good point. It's weird having a chat with two kids.
Yeah, well, Jack, I'd like to talk about my feelings about my jingle, young man.
No, it's Thomas who did that one.
Oh, Thomas. Oh,
but I did write back and I said, with regard to frequency, this sounded like something official from the government. I said it's not easy to listen to everything I know, but I did point out actually that we've had a few messages, and I'm going to be careful here because I don't want to identify anybody in particular. But there were a couple of personal mails I've received from people who are absolutely alone at this time, who've described us, get this, Kev, you and I are sanity.
Well, that's because we keep cleaning our hands a lot.
Yeah, so I said that generally some people that find it a bit like a radio show. I thought I explained it a bit like a radio show. And bless him, Kevin Fitzsimons, gotta love him, came straight back within moments. He said, "You're absolutely doing the right thing. I never thought the folks you mentioned that look at it as a radio program and a means to get away from the news of the day. Yeah, God knows we need to. I've changed my mind. I may now make time for my daily photo meditation time. Thank you very much. Carry on, Kevin."
It's a little bit like The Archers, isn't it?
It is.
The Archers, I used to think was really
Stop it.
And then I started listening to it, and now I think it's really cool.
How long have you been, the same. How long have you been listening to The Archers? Because that's a very middle-aged thing to do.
Well, I kind of tend to do the Sunday omnibus, the bit when they put all of the shows together.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, quite a few years, I suppose, on and off. Yeah. I went through a period. I remember once when I worked in London, and I used to get on that hell of a train every morning. Yeah. Like 6:15 in the morning, I would listen to it, and it was in the real early days of being able to listen to things like you could download them onto your phone or maybe podcast them or whatever it was. This was years and years ago.
You weren't downloading onto your phone then.
Well, I was doing something because it wasn't going live at 6 in the morning, but that's when I was listening to it, right. and I really got into it, and then all the characters and all that kind of stuff. And now apparently they're recording it from home themselves, a bit like us. That's why I said we're like the Archers.
Oh, I see. Right.
They're not allowed to go to their studio in Elstree or whatever they've got, which I think is a big barn, isn't it? With all of the.
I've never seen that. Yeah, no, I've never seen where they record the Archers. They used to record it underneath a broadcasting house, right down in the depths, right down low, down in the depths. Go down. Where apparently the BBC had some sort of nuclear shelter. So when I was working there, me and one of the newsreaders and I, can't remember his name, lovely lad anyway, we decided to go looking for the nuclear shelter that the BBC apparently had. So we went right down into the depths and found all the drama studios, and they were all open. We went into the drama studios, but they used to have to stop apparently every so often because it was built right next to one of the underground tube lines.
So that'd be Baker Street's up by that end, isn't it?
Yeah, and, it's kind of near Portland Street and places
Great
like
Portland
that.
Street, yeah.
So if it trundle, it was stop everybody, train's gone, carry on.
Yeah, I used to work on Great Portland Street probably when you were doing that kind of skiving under the building.
Skiving? It was a job. It was a job.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the kind of place where they used to film things like Planet of the Daleks or whatever, because it was dead scary down there. It was like you could take wrong turns and never come out again.
I love all those subterranean stories. There's a really good film on Netflix or documentary on Netflix. I think it's called Subterranean London, right. Or Underground London might be. And it might be on Amazon, not Netflix, or it might have been on the BBC iPlayer. Anyway, it's about London Underground, either subterranean or underground London. And it's really interesting, all about how they built the first tunnel and like all of the scary things that still exist, and the rivers, what's it called? The river. There's an underground river, isn't it? Bow. There's three of them. There's the River Bow.
Yeah, I know the one. I know what you mean. I was going to, by the way, another jingle I was going to make was a tick-tock timer for us, and if we couldn't think of the word we were trying to say, because I know it drives Gemma mad, it must drive other people mad, there would just be a buzzer, and you had to say the first word that came into your mind.
Oh, God.
That could be anything.
Yeah, we're probably about 20 minutes in already, and we still haven't actually answered a question.
Well, shall I get on with the question?
Yeah.
But there are also, by the way, on the Underground thing, there are some, what do they call them, ghost stations, aren't there, on the London Underground that are no longer, I think, is Angel one of them?
Angel, yeah. There's also Thingy Road.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Oh, yeah, but that makes it worse because I know it. I read loads of books. Christopher Fowler wrote loads of books about two detectives called Bryant and May, believe it or not. And they're brilliant books, really brilliant books. And they were Mornington Crescent. That was it.
Oh, yeah, Mornington Crescent.
Mornington Crescent.
Oh, I remember going through that station. So that can't have been shut that long.
I think it's shut now, but that was one of them. Angel, and there's one where they do all the filming as well, isn't there? And there's another one that they use for.
Oh, is there one sort of already all decked out, sort of normal sort of underground that's just used for filming? Is there?
I think they've got one side that's kind of modern day, and then the other side is kind of wartime, decked out for filming.
That's brilliant. Oh,
and the post office used one of them, I think, for something or other.
They used to run the poster overnight, didn't they, under the London Underground? I don't know if they do it anymore. Anyway, should we go?
I love all that.
Question from William Fitch. Thanks, guys, for the daily. I only started listening just before Christmas, so I'm reasonably new to it, and don't tell anyone, but I'm a Canon shooter. Uh-oh. My heart leapt a bit when you suggested you'd spoken to Canon about Canoncast, then dropped almost as quickly when you said they didn't get back to you. So here I am, Canon user, Fuji listener. Well, you're very welcome.
Did you really do that?
No, I suggested it, didn't I? But I think I was joshing about it. I did, although I did actually. No, though to be fair, no, I did mention it to one of the ambassadors, and he didn't get back to me. So there we go. It all counts. You'll forgive I wouldn't suggest I would do it. It was an idea thrown at him. You'll forgive a non-Fuji question, but I do want to ask about photography, since you both have a decade plus of experience, and I'm in my first 2 years of business. Welcome to the best time in the world to start your photo business. Here's some stuff I've been meaning to ask. There's 5 questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1. If you've made one mistake in your business, what would that be?
Okay. We're meant to answer it.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea of getting questions in is that we answer them. You see.
Yeah, but you've read these questions already.
No, I've actually already made some notes of what I would say.
Oh God! I was just looking at my desk. Somebody's run off with my blinking notebook. One of the kids, expect.
I bet it's Git. I bet Git's eating it.
One mistake. There's many mistakes. Many mistakes.
Maybe something you would have changed about your business. Do you want me to go first while you have a think then?
Yeah, good idea.
So I mentioned this a few times. I'm going to sound like a blooming mantra, I know, but specialism. I've spent 15 years now specialising in wedding photography. Yes, I've done other stuff. I've done some commercial stuff and yada, yada, yada. But I really have thrown all my eggs into the wedding basket, as it were. So that means that it's a little bit tougher coming out the other side to have, other skills that I'll be able to say, well, I'll do that on a Wednesday, that on a Thursday, that on a Friday. I'm going to try and change that with the website changes I'm going to make. Watch this space. But I'd say if there was I'm not sure if it's a mistake, but something that I might have done differently now. But of course, notwithstanding, I didn't know that this was going to come along, did I? So there we go.
Yeah, I don't know whether. Yeah, I suppose kind of in hindsight is a different thing, isn't it? And so maybe I work at different kind of strands. Perhaps in hindsight, I wish I had a day job rather than just a sole photographer now. But I suppose you can't really kind of legislate for that. So I think I don't know. I think for me, probably being a little bit more ambitious with my own interests. So like wedding photography is wedding photography. That's that's what I do. That's probably the only thing that I can do that I'm reasonably capable of doing.
You're very capable of doing it.
But I've always kind of been on the hanging on to the side of things like doing a Patrick LaRock and just going off around Canada for 3 months documenting the indigenous crocodiles or whatever they've got up there.
What's in Canada?
I
think you'd be more likely to find a bear, wouldn't you?
I'd love to have been able to, and it's and I'm not saying this is something that I could not do now, but, circumstances are different, notwithstanding the fact we can't go outside the house, but, families and kids and relationships and all that. But I'd love to have had more gumption to, gone up to, I don't know, the Welsh valleys and document the decline in industries and various things like that, the books we talk about are full of that kind of stuff. And there's nothing to stop me doing it. But, of course, you have to pay the bills. And that kind of photography these days, you don't get paid for. Some people do still, but not many people. And so it has to be a personal project, and then that's when it becomes, well, I don't know if I can afford to spend the time there, blah 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 blah. So that kind of thing. I think never. I suppose what I'm saying in a very long-winded way, just like the Archers, is I wish I'd been more forthright with my own personal enjoyment, my own personal projects and stuff, rather than just the money-making elements.
You keep bouncing towards that, though, don't you? Because you've got the GFX now, and I know you want to use that GFX for more sort of portraits was one, wasn't it? Headshots, but also you were really keen to start putting some stuff on tables and arranging it and doing some still life as well.
Yeah, no, I'm just really keen on selling it.
Okay. Does anybody want a GFX?
I'm thinking about selling it to the government so they can try and give me a bit more money.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. The GFX, and I'm actually working on a project right this second. Funny enough, which I'm not going to say anything about. But maybe, just maybe, by the end of the week, I'll mention it. And that does kind of go down this route of my personal photography and something that's not for everybody, but just for me.
Pictures of you in your underpants. Would that be a?
Yeah, kevinisPants.com.
Yeah, it's going to go big. Right, there's 5 questions. Number 2, what do you do or say when a client doesn't like what you have done? Oh, these are straight in there, straight for the jugular, William Fitch. Really? You feel like you want to go and hide behind a rock, don't you? I heard this. I was listening to a podcast this morning. 2 comedians talking about what it's like to die on stage. Not literally, obviously, but the comedic, where it's all going wrong. And they were saying, you never, when it happens the first time, it's like your world has just fallen apart. But you do get used to it, and you get used to coming back with lines. But it never really goes away. If somebody shouts something horrible out, bring on the real comedian. That doesn't do a lot for your confidence, does it? And it's the same when somebody says,
Any more pictures? Was there any other pictures you didn't show us?
Yeah. These aren't like the ones you usually take. I mean, fortunately, it doesn't happen very often. But it's a subjective business, this, and you're gonna get it. Who was the photographer? Was it Bailey? Might have been Bailey. Who was, I remember listening to on an interview, who just was asked, what happens if somebody doesn't like it? Do people ever not like your pictures? Yeah, all the time. I just go and tell them don't be rude. Off.
Yeah. I was watching a David Bailey documentary last night, funny enough.
I'm not sure it was David Bailey, by the way, but that
sounds like him.
Sort of thing that Bailey would have said. But...
yeah, but that's different, isn't it? That's very different because he's he's of that echelon. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen very often. I think I've only ever had one client in the 13 years I've been doing weddings, at least, to say, actually, you know what, we appreciate that it's you did your best, but we didn't really like a lot of the pictures. There were some nice ones, but we didn't really like a lot of them, and that was only one. And yeah, it hurts. It's like being punched in the jugular, isn't it? It is very subjective, and what can you do? You've got to just move on, and I suppose.
Number 3, did anyone help you to get into the business? I don't think they did for you, did they? I mean, you pretty much made this announcement. You were suddenly going to become a wedding photographer, and you just went and did it.
I tell you what, there is one person that I did a little bit of second shooting. I did one wedding, I think, right at the very beginning, for a guy called Steve Corson up in Birmingham. I don't know whether he even still shoots weddings anymore. I haven't seen or heard from him in a very long time. But yeah, he was I reached out to one person. I can't even remember where I found him, and I don't know what, the forum or whatever. I really don't know. I said, I want to get in the game. Can I come with you one day? said, yeah, of course you can. Come along. He took me to this massive Indian wedding up in Birmingham.
Wow.
And it was great. It was really good.
Yeah.
And he was excellent. He was really, really kind and helpful. And I only did that one gig with him, I think. And then, I haven't seen him since. But yeah, I guess if there was anybody, it would be, in terms of in the industry, it would be him. But really, ultimately, it would have been Gemma, because she was the one after she initially got came down from the ceiling of anger.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, okay, do it.
Yeah, and I had a similar sort of situation. I second shot for David Lineker, Gary's brother, for a little while, and that helped. It's not really Gary's brother. I wondered if you'd go.
Have you ever been to Australia before, Neil?
No, I was doing I did an Antipodean or a Southern Hemisphere meetup on Zoom, so we could talk about sound and stuff at the time of day that suits them. Yesterday, and they all said that as well. They'd copied you. Said, "Have you ever been to Australia, Neil?" 4. What part of your business has been the most profitable? Should we split this into 2, as in mental and actual money? Oh no, just go money. I'm sure he's talking about money. William, are you talking about money? Yes, you are, aren't you? Go on.
Yeah, weddings.
Yeah, but you've not really done any other, have you? You've done a few portraits and things and some films, but it's mainly been weddings anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're looking at profit per hour, like proper profit per hour, I've done a couple of commercial gigs that have been vastly more than what I would normally get for weddings.
Yes.
But only a couple. But generally, I mean, if I look at my accounts from last year, it will be 70% income from weddings, 20% from workshops, 10% from public speaking, writing for blogs, magazines, that kind of stuff.
I'd say, and for me, William, I'd say schools. Per day, schools, definitely. Reasonably easy to edit. And then number 5, do you ever plan to retire?
Not now, cripes.
Never.
I had thought about it once.
Not going to be possible. I think we're in this forever. Uh-oh. Yep. Anyway, there were some great questions there, William. Thank you very much for those. Right, have you got the internet there? Because we need to make a decision on the the Daily Photo Challenge. We do have a jingle for this.
The Daily Show Photo Challenge.
Oh yes. So, unbelievable response, by the way. Well over 100 by the time we started looking at it, and for the Daily Photo Challenge. What do you think? You set the one, so it was a self-portrait in a mirror, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A mirror and you. A you and a mirror. Isn't that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, you and a mirror. Mirror and you.
So it's going to be so difficult to pick out a winner, isn't it?
There's loads. I didn't realise this would happen. There's 132.
No, yeah, and this is just at the time when we're recording this. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. So keep putting them in, even after, by the way, we've chosen one. Keep doing them.
Look at that. Some of these are great.
Yeah.
How can you pick a winner? I love the one. What was the one I just looked at? Nigel Baton, him and his wife.
Where's that one? Oh, yeah, very good.
Presume it's his wife.
Yeah, well, it might, yeah. Is that your wife, Nigel?
Stop it.
Hope so.
I like the one underneath
nice shower cap.
that from Dan Croft as well. He looked particularly maniacal, Dan. He looked like one of the sort of 1960s horror movie reflection.
Jim Seaton's one looks ace as well. It looks like a painting. It looks amazing. No reflections, nothing.
Painterly ones there.
Very well composed.
Did you see it? It's in colour. Asen Velikov. We had this problem the other day with this name, didn't we?
Asen, I'm looking at that one now with the lines. Yeah,
that's cool, amazing,
isn't it?
Asen. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's going to get one of my votes. I'm just going to click more comments here, look through a few more. Oh, yeah, Louise Wise one. I'm not sure that's condensation on your window or it was a picture of you in the shower. Not quite sure, Louise, but very, very artistic.
Yeah. What's this one? Stephen Gray. There's a lot of you in that frame.
And Ken Brown as well. Ken. That one that you took, yeah, I mean, a few people popped in and said they liked that one of you. It's just a very moody picture, side-lit, beautifully done. Yeah, black and white. A lot of black and whites in this collection. I think you did tap your inner Vivian Myers, didn't you? So go on, you I mean, it's your thing, so you need to pick one.
I can't look at all of them at once.
There's no prizes. You're just going to have to pick one. Go on.
There's Emily poking around the corner.
Did you notice that one of Emily, by the way? She's poking her head around the corner, but if you look at that picture, there's a tail coming out the other side of the wall. I'm not sure if she planned that, but it looks like there's the front end of Emily and the back end of a Labrador.
I think she did. I think she knew because she called it, I think I've grown something.
It's very clever, very clever.
Okay, so the one I'm going to go for one that's literally only just come in because it's very cool, and it is Steve Weller, because he's managed to get in twice.
Has he?
In the picture.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
It's
so like third from the bottom.
There are no prizes, but you do get a round of applause. By the way, I've got a couple of people saying, is it fair that you can send in pictures that you've done before? And do you know what? I'm okay with that, because I think, it might be a nice opportunity sometimes to say, I've got that picture I took 2 years ago. They're going to love this. So, yeah, but it's nice if you can join in with it, actually do it on the day. Wonderful.
Yeah, cool.
Go on. What's the new one?
Okay, so today the new one is it's half frame.
Half frame.
Half frame.
Oh, challenge on, Kev. I mean, settle down.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is. Yeah. So you want you're looking for either something like two very different stories in a frame, or half the frame completely and utterly negative space, and something else happening around the corner. So you're looking at split composition, basically.
I was going to say, are we split composition? I've got a split composition from a wedding. I can send in straight away.
You're not allowed to enter.
Oh, I'm not. Okay, you miserable old sausage. Yeah. So half frame or split composition.
Split composition, half frame. Doesn't have to be you. You do no longer need to be yourselves. We'll get one entry for this tomorrow, because everybody's like, I want to take a picture of myself.
Can't we just do another selfie?
Well, you can be in it, of course, actually, thinking about it. Doesn't matter. Yeah. There's no rules, no regs, there's no parameters in our competitions.
Nigel Baton, if you can get a daily picture of your wife wearing what is that she's wearing on her head? Wearing a
shower cap, I think.
A shower cap, then that could form a theme, Nigel. That really could. So, right, Kev, have you got a book? Because Wednesdays is going to be a book, and you do have a little jingle coming from Thomas, who's inside. Actually, he's got a little daily challenge of his own today. He's creating his own top trumps set. So I've got a lot of printing to do this afternoon of trains. So Kev's mountain of books you should buy when it's safe to spend money again feature.
Okay, so today we're looking at a photojournalist. Some people will have heard of him, many won't, called Kim Komenich. Right. And he's still a very active photojournalist. And the book I'm looking at is called Revolution. And it's it's a very, very, very straightforward look at the 1986 Philippine Revolution. Now, those of you that have ever kind of remember that or have ever looked it up will think about the other guy, Ferdinand Marcos. He was the bloke at the time, and this was the revolution, and he was out there. Kim Komenich was out there documenting it, all black and white, all candid, amazing kind of story of what was happening. Now, I purposely picked this book because it's very easy to get hold of. It's not it's not a limited edition. It's the one I've got is a first edition, which is I think the only print run they've done of it. So you'll always get a first edition. By the way, if you are doing if you're trying to collect books for anything other than just kind of pouring through them and looking through them, you do want to try and get the first editions. They are the ones that will retain their value. So the stories in the book itself. So there are individual stories about people and the events that happened. It's rather than it just being picture after picture after picture. So it's a big old book as well. It's kind of 140 odd pages, beautifully printed, beautifully formatted. It's a square book rather than a vertical book. So it's you can get your 3x2 images in there. I love it. It's really cool. And I was thinking, because you even though we talked about this yesterday, you said to me just before we went on air, "Oh, have you got your book?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I haven't." So I went and got one, and I was thinking, shall I go for something really depressing like a revolution picture of a gun on the front, or shall I go for something a little bit more cheery, given the times we're in? And I thought, no, I'll go for the one with a gun.
I knew you were going to say that.
Kim Komenich. So here, by the way, I popped his name into Google and looked at his Wikipedia bio, whatever it is. And he's been he was born in 1956, so he's reasonably young. He's probably about the same age as you, Neil, and he's a Pulitzer Prize winner and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so just like me as well, then.
Yeah, just like you, World Press Photo. Yeah. And what I didn't know, though, which is why I came to the Wikipedia thing, was that there's also a 70-minute documentary film about this about Revolution. Right. Or the book's called Revolution Revisited, and the film's called Revolution Revisited. So I'm going to try and dig that out, find out where that is. That'd be really interesting.
So there we go. There's your book this week, and we'll have another one next Wednesday.
Well, Revolution Revisited.
Revisited. Well, good luck with the photo challenge. We shall be back tomorrow with the podcast as always, and make sure you send in your questions and your thoughts. And by the way, I thought that one that came in from who was it? It was from William Fitch with the 5 questions there. They were really good. Love stuff like that. And you can get personal with it as well. Click at FujiCast.co.uk. And a reminder of the photo challenge for today, Kev, it is
split frames, half frame, split composition, whatever you want.
And you can only put it in the post that appears that says this is where you put your pictures. Otherwise, it'll meet Auntie Delete key. See you tomorrow on the podcast. Thanks, Kev.
Bye-bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.